Here in Shangri-La, here inside my heart. Here in Shangri-La, here inside my heart.
Welcome all of you. Hey, it's the Monte Cagle Show. How are you doing today? I hope you had a really nice week. Today, we're out in the park. I want to enjoy the park. It's still cold. Well, as you can see, the snow has left. There's still the possibility of more snow in the future, but today it's really nice. It's just above freezing. And so I wanted to change the background a bit, and I wanted to show you a little different place. And this is our park, as you can see. Nice little duckies and everything like that. It's right before our house, right across the street, and here we are. Well, I wanted to continue talking to you about faith and continue sharing the testimonies and lessons and a lot of things that happened to me in my life and my family's life. And today I wanted to tell you another story. Now, this story happened in my town about 50 some years ago, quite a long time ago. And in this story, I want to emphasize how God watches over his children. He's everywhere, and he cares for all of his children. He cares for the whole world, really. But he especially watches over his children, or those who love him or want to know more about him. And he's looking over our shoulder, literally. You know, he's there the whole time. And well, the story goes like this. In my hometown, not too long ago, well, quite a ways back. This story also, I want to emphasize how important it is for you kiddies who may be listening. You should always listen to your mom and dad, because, you know, like the Bible says, they watch for our souls. They're watching over us, and they care about you, and they want you to be healthy, and they want you to live a pretty decent life, you know. So your mom and your dad, they care about you and want to take care of you. So anyway, this actually happened. I wasn't dreaming. It wasn't a hallucination. It's as real as you sitting there looking at this video. And what happened was, one summer, beautiful day in South Carolina, a lot of people in South Carolina like to go fishing in summer. And sure enough, I had a nice rod and reel, and we live very close to the what you call the PD River. It was like more swamp than river. It's like kind of marshy area and a lot of trees, broken trees and rivers and things like this. The water looked pretty much like this. And anyway, my friends came by and said, "Hey, Miss Cagle, you know, we're going to go out fishing." I was kind of introvert a bit, not that much, but I didn't go out a lot. But my friends came by, a few guys came by one summer morning, and they said, "Hey, let's go fishing." And I was like, yeah. And my mother really watched over me a lot. She was very, you know, protective, you might say. But thank God it helped me to be who I am today, and it kept me alive, and somebody who really loved me and cared about me. And that's why it's important to listen to your parents, and because they really love you and they really care for you. But anyway, as the story goes, the guys came over and said, "Let's go fishing." And beautiful weather. The sun was just beaming down, and plants and insects, and it was just a nice southern summer morning. So we talked, and they said, "Look, why don't you, let's ask your mom if you can go fishing with us." And I said, like, "Okay, sure." So we go up to Mom. I said, "Hey, Mom, I want to go fishing with the guys. Is it okay?" You know, I asked her permission. And she was like, "Yes." Now, it was very significant that she said this. She said, "Look, you can go fishing, but I don't want you to go fishing on the Trussell, on the train trestle." Now, the train trestle was like a bridge about 20, 30 feet up in the sky, in the air, a bridge. And a lot of people used to like to fish off of that bridge. The only problem was the bridge had no sides, and there was one track that went, straight across this, let's say, a span about from here to that other side of the pond from our house, very far. And it was 30 feet up in the air. Now, my mom, I don't know, she's psychic or whatever, she just said, look, you can go fishing, but don't go fishing on the Trussell. And they were like, oh, sure, oh, Miss Cagle, don't worry, we're going to go there, and we're not going to go fishing on the Trussell, on the train bridge. And so I'm like, oh, wow, okay, Mom said, okay, sure, you can go. So we're like, oh, we're going fishing. It was really cool. And we took off down the road, walking down the road, laughing, talking, throwing rocks and the slate rocks from the side of the train track, the granite rocks, And so we're just walking. It's about half a mile down to the river. So we're just walking, having a good time. It's a beautiful day, and we're just joking and stuff. So we go down, we walk down, and so we get near the train track, near the train trestle, the bridge. So guess what? A friend of mine, I won't say his name, but just in case he's listening, says, look, this is the first thing he says. We get to the train track, and he goes, hey, let's go fishing off of the train trestle. I can't believe it. My mom specifically said, don't go on the train trestle. And sure enough, we get there, and there's about 5 of us. And some of the guys said, look, Marty's mother specifically said, don't go off the train trestle. And he was like, oh, who cares what his mom says? Nothing's going to happen. Don't worry about it. Let's just go fish off the train bridge, and don't even worry about it. Everything's going to be fine. So sure enough, we're walking. We walk up about 30 feet. The bridge, the track was straight like this, but the river dropped down about 20, 30 feet. 30 feet dropped down. And so sure enough, they turned to me and said, hey, let's go fishing on the train bridge. I said, like, no, man, my mom just said, don't go on the bridge. Who cares, they said. Nothing's going to happen. So sure enough, we start going. And I said, well, I don't know. Don't worry, you'll be fine. Look, let's just go, man. Don't worry about it. So anyway, I said, oh, okay. Disobeyed my mom. Didn't listen to what she said. And sure enough, we start walking across, going up on the bridge. And then we get up and we start walking toward the center of the bridge. Now, the bridge is like I said, from here where I'm standing to about the other side of the lake there. It's like maybe 20, 30, 300 feet. So anyway, so we go to the bridge. I go to the middle of the bridge. The three of us, 3 guys. We take out our tackles and we take out our reels. We throw it out. We throw our line in the water. And so there we are. So I'm over there fishing, like, whoa, did you get anything? No, I didn't get anything. Oh, did you get anything? No. And we throw our lines out again in the water, right? So about this time, we're laughing and talking. Now, this is about 10 minutes. We're in the trestle about 10 minutes, the bridge, train bridge. And all of a sudden, I hear, bump, bump. And I looked down about a mile down the train track. You could see straight into our city. About 2 miles, actually, it's about 2 miles from where I was standing to where I could see the train, about 2 miles. Straight shot down the train track. And I hear, bop, and the guy goes, hey, the train is coming. And I'm like, oh my God. Now, they take off running. This train, this particular train, let me clarify this, was called the Amtrak train. Now this train would come through out of our, would stop in our town, the center of our town. Now when it would leave, by the time it would get from the center of my town to my house, it would be doing about 80 miles an hour, about 130 kilometers an hour. And so the train's like, bah, bah, and I'm like, oh my God, I'm not going to make it. And they're running, and they're running, run, run, run. The two friends like, run, 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 run. And I'm like, oh my God, I'm going to die, because I was walking like this, slowly trying to go through the train ties, right, we call them. And I'm jumping over the ties, and I'm like, oh God, and I hear, bah, bah, I'm going to die, and oh my God. And so finally it's like, I look down, now this train is about maybe a quarter mile away from me, and I see this huge train, bah, 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 coming like that. And I'm like, oh my God, I can't make it. And I thought, oh, well, maybe I'll jump. So I'm going to jump off, but I don't know how to swim. And on the side, about 30 feet down, there's these tree stumps in the swamp area. The trees would break off and leave these stumps. And I'm like, oh my God, I'm going to die. And then I'm like, still trying to run. And then finally I said, I'll never make it. I just stood there. I'm like in the middle, like I'm about a quarter of the way from the end now. My two friends are already down at the end, and they boom, jump. I see them jump off the side, and I hear the train. I said, I'm going to die. And just as I hear this, I hear the bah. Someone said, I heard a voice saying clearly, jump. I'm like, jump, jump. I can't swim. I'll die. So I'm going to die anyway. But I'm like, I hear jump in my mind, or I hear it audibly. I can't remember. Jump. So at that point, I look to my right, and there's another train track that ran parallel to that train track. Now this other train track was at least 10 feet away from me. And I'm like, I'll never, from a cold stand, how can I jump over to the other following track? And I hear the voice, jump. So sure enough, I'm standing there, and I get to the edge, and I just jump, I hear. And I go back to the side, and I get a running start, and I went into the air to jump to the other track. And just as I got in the air, I hear bump, bump, and I come down, and I'm like, oh my God, I'm still gonna die, because I didn't jump with enough speed and enough strength to get to the other track. And my feet were this far from the other train ties, or the ties of the other train track were this far. So I'm up in the air, and I'm like, oh, I'm going to die. And the sky of the train track is this high. And my feet are up in the air, and I'm trying to jump, and I'm going like this. Then my feet slightly go down past the ties. And sure enough, now this actually happened. I'm not making this up. I'm coming down, my feet past the other edge of the track, and I'm like closing my eyes. And I said, oh my God, I'm going to die. So I closed my eyes to get ready to die. And just at that point, I felt a hand come from the back of me and boom, hit the back right here. As you can see, a hand, a big hand, went boom, hit me right there, picked me up, pushed me over in the air, and boom, safely, boom, I land on the other track. Not making this up, and it actually happened. I went, bam, right in the middle. Now I'm in the middle of the other train track. And I was like, and as soon as my feet went, boom, down in the middle of the other train track. Now here's the middle of the train track. I was here, and the hand hit me in the back, pushed me up like this, bam, and put me right in the middle of the other train track. Now I'm going to show you, now this is how it looks, this train track. I'm going to take you by satellite. I'm going to show you where it was. So I land there, bam, in the middle. I'm like, oh, and just as my feet hit the ground, hit the other train, the ties of the other train track, that train going at like 80, 90 miles an hour goes, And I'm like, looking at that, and I'm like, and then it just passed. I was jumped down there, standing there, looking at that other train, the train passing by. And about this time, from down below on the bank of the river, I hear, Monty! Monty! And I hear, oh my God, I couldn't say a word because I was just totally freaked out about the train almost hitting me, and also freaked out about this hand that hit me in my back and put me on the other track. So I'm standing there like totally amazed, but I hear the boys yelling, Monty! Monty! Are you all right? And so I just stood there, and I was speechless. I couldn't say anything. They couldn't see me, but I hear them yelling from down there on the bank of the river. And so I thought I'll play a trick on them. I won't say anything. And they're yelling, Marty! And then I hear, oh my God, he's dead. What are we going to tell his mother? You know? And I hear this crunch, 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 crunch coming up the bankment of the river. And then finally I hear, and one guy says, oh my God, he's alive, he's alive, he's alive. And they're like, yay! And they all come up the stairs, and I start laughing, yes, I'm alive. Now, this is a true story. This actually happened. I'm not making this up. And that's another reason why I believe in God. And that's another reason why I know that his angels are there watching over us. They take care of us and they look after us. And we just have to believe, and we have to realize that these things are really true. These beings are watching over us, and he watches over his children, and he loves us very much. And God's real. So that's my story for the day. Like I said, I shorten the stories for the little talks I give. And here's a verse that says that angels are watching over us, and be aware of them. Here's a little verse for you, and you can see it, look it up, but it's really true. And like I said, there are so many things that happen to me like that. I should be dead. I really should be dead right now, but the Lord watches over us. He's really there. Angels are taking care of us, and he loves us dearly, and he watches over us. So here's a little true story that I wanted to tell you today, and also a little admonition to always listen to, if you're a kid, listen to your mom and your dad when they try to tell you things or try to correct you, because they watch out for you, they watch over you, and you're their responsibility. So they watch for you. So I hope you enjoyed my little story, and I hope you enjoyed the little videos and the pictures. And this is that story was from my hometown in South Carolina. And it's an itsy bitsy little story, and lots of things happen in my life that lets me know that there is a God, and he's really real. It's not my imagination. Let me tell you, that train was not my imagination. It was really coming. And if it hadn't been for the supernatural intervention of Jesus Christ, I would be dead. So, I hope you enjoyed the story. And don't forget to keep logging on to thecaglefamily.com or montecagle.com. And you can see all my videos and my little classes and talks and little stories of faith and little stories of God's intervention in my life that lets me know that he's really real and he really cares. So thanks for watching. Till next time, bye-bye and thank you.
Here inside my heart, here in Shangri-La.